Hi guys, welcome back. Let's get started. We have lots of bait to get through today. The first list is from a very popular and very competitive store in America. It's for the Constance 18. In this particular location, the Constance 18 is a quota bag. The Constance is a quota bag worldwide in pretty much every single market except America. For some reason, it's not in certain boutiques in the States. So let's get started. She buys 2 pairs of sandals. She buys a pair of mules, a pair of trainers as well, a piece of ready-to-wear, like a small ready-to-wear piece, like a top basically. And then she also gets 3 gold rings. Each one is rose gold, and they're all of them are, let's just say like all of them are under $6,000 a piece, but they're all like gold rings. And then she gets 2 plates. She also gets a like homewares set, and then she also picked up 2 non-quota bags. Now, I think for a lot of the US lists, when I've chatted to many of you, you've told me that like in America now, America's like moving away from counting non-quota bags. I don't count non-quota bags for US locations because I personally don't think that they count. Even if you're told that they count, I don't think that they count anymore. Like I don't think any leather goods count for the quota offers in America. They've never counted anyway in Europe and in the Middle East and in Asia and Latin America. They've never counted, but I definitely don't think that they count in America as well. So those are all of the things that she picked up, and she said that she did all of the shopping in about a few visits basically. She did all of the shopping. So her loyalty without the non-quota bags was 1.6 to 1 for the Constance 18. It was in a really nice color as well, like a very desirable color that many people would have liked. And she was told that the bag is a quota bag for her store, and now she's working on her next offer. So this is for the Constance 18. This is a very new offer, and it is for a very competitive store. So I think that there are a few things that we need to note here. A lot of like you guys who like reach out to me privately and say, hey, I've got an offer, or I've got a Birkin Kelly or Constance. A lot of you are buying rings. So I'm like, I feel like we should all buy rings now because she got 3 gold rings. Okay, it's like being Thanos with the Infinity Stones. Like these are the Infinity rings. So she got 3 gold rings. She bought a bunch of homewares. She also got a ready-to-wear piece, like a top, and she bought a bunch of shoes as well. So this is a nicely well-rounded list. You can tell that from this list, it's like she's buying things that she's going to use. She's going to wear the rings. She's going to wear the trainers and the shoes, and she's going to, you know, physically, she's going to wear the top as well, and she's going to use the homeware. So I'd love to know what you think about this one. Honestly, I have also noticed something which I think is really worth us kind of chatting about. I've noticed that the Constance, like these days, is requiring more and more and more loyalty. Like it's a really, really, really like top tier bag for the brand, and it is definitely a quota bag. There's no question about it. Even for those of you in America, you're told it's not a quota bag, maybe for your store, maybe right now, but I feel like the Constance in America very soon will be like a quota bag hardcore for all of the boutiques, because it's a quota bag in France, it's a quota bag in Europe, it's a quota bag in virtually every single boutique in Asia pretty much, and it's also a quota bag in many like of the boutiques as well in the Middle East. So even if like they're like, oh, it's not a quota bag, I don't know about that, because I feel like it acts like one. It's like the Constance has 2 faces. She has her quota face and her non-quota face. Okay, because I don't know, boo-boo. Like this bag is getting more and more difficult, like as time has gone on, and that is something which I've noticed. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I'd love to know what you. Obviously, I mean, I don't know what you guys kind of think about the Constance and whether. I don't know, like, do you think it's like a top tier bag? Do you see it that way? I really like it now, and I think what I realize about it is like, I actually love it a lot because it's really 70s, it has the accordion style, and also I needed to see it in colors that I personally like. A lot of people in the big H scene like neutrals. I personally don't really like neutrals. So I was looking at the Constance a lot in neutrals and thinking, oh, maybe this isn't for me. And then the moment I saw it in pink and I saw it in green, I was like, whoa, I actually really like this. I think this is really beautiful. I would love to have one for sure. So I think that was a very interesting one. What do you think about that one? And yeah, make sure that you tell me, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It's really important for you to subscribe, because if you subscribe, it's easy for you to watch my videos. So make sure that you do that. Let's move on to the next bait list. And this one is for a Birkin 30 in a competitive store in America. A leather wallet, 3 pairs of shoes, a belt, another pair of shoes, a perfume, a pair of trainers, a men's fragrance, a silver ring, a bag charm, a card holder, another card holder. Both of those card holders are Calvi's. A scarf, 3 lip oils, a pair of shoes, a fashion bangle. She buys a non-quota bag, I won't count that. And then also a pink card holder as well, and another bag charm. She gets the other bag charm, the one that we all know as well. So basically she gets two bag charms here, and then she gets another card holder, 2 lip oils, a pouch, a bunch of soaps, another non-quota bag which I'm not going to count, another leather card holder, and 2 silk twillies as well. And she got so basically she got like 3 non-quota bags though here as well, but I'm not counting them because, like I said, I just don't feel like they count. This took a few months to get this offer to come through, and it was a Birkin 30 in a neutral color. And she did, like I said, she did buy 3 non-quota bags, which I'm not counting. I just don't feel like leather spend counts anymore, even for those of you in America. I think even if the essay gives you the feeling it counts, I just don't feel like it counts, so I'm not counting them. Many of you in the US have even told me you agree that you don't think that they count anymore. So what was her ratio for loyalty? It was 2-to-1. This particular one is really interesting because she told me that she would tend to go into the boutique and make sure that she bought quite a bit, like each time. And I think that is actually a really good thing, like to go in there and to just make a splash, because I think it makes the essay remember you. She was also very consistent with popping into the boutique, and that was something that she did a lot. So I think here it's like consistency and shopping often and shopping a lot. Total ratio was 2-to-1, and she got that Birkin 30. So I'd love to know what you think about this one. I think this one is also similar to the Constance 18 bait list in that, again, it's that consistency. We see she did get a silver ring, lots of shoes, she gets belts and stuff. She does buy a lot of like card holders, but again, she's still shopping and buying a lot of other stuff as well. And I think a lot of that stuff comes together to count for this very good offer. So 2-to-1 for the Birkin, just over 2-to-1 for the Birkin 30, and 1.6-to-1 for the Constance 18. These are both scores from America, so I'd love to know what you guys think about them. And one of the things I think as well to note is with both of these lists, and I saw this in the Constance 18 bait list and the Birkin 30, is the concept of FaceTime. You have got to get yourself into the boutique once a month if you live in a country with an MS store. If you're in America, you're in Canada, you're in Singapore, you're in Australia, China, Japan, the UAE, Qatar, Europe, the UK, everywhere where there is an Hermes store physically, you need to be going there once a month, unless you are a very, in my opinion, very established, loyal spender who can be relied upon to shop at a very specific interval, or you're someone who is a very big spender, who maybe you shop, maybe you have a home store but you don't physically go in, and maybe you shop like, maybe you spend like 50k at once, maybe, and you shop once a quarter or something like that. But I think if you have a home store, like one that is like literally close to you physically, you really do need to be going in there, in my opinion, once a month. So maybe at the end of every month you just pop in and you're seen and you pick up items. I've seen people discuss this, you know, in Facebook groups and say, oh, like, what else can I do to foster a relationship if I'm not buying things? Big H is a business, boo-boo, okay? This is not a charity, okay? This isn't like, you know, respectfully, this isn't a playground where people just go to have fun and not spend any money. You're going to be expected to buy things. There's no question about it. So you have to go willing to do that. But if I lived in London or I lived in Paris, like I'd be there every month. If I lived, I mean, obviously there's no Hermes in Africa, so my situation is very different. I have to think differently with the way I shop in Paris. But for those of you who live in a country with an Hermes store or Hermes stores with a Z, you really do need to be going there once a month. I think it's too competitive now to go every 6 to 8 weeks. I think it depends on, like I said, I think if you're someone who's established at your store, if you're established at a specific boutique, I think it's fine to go every 6 to 8 weeks. For example, let's say you live like 5 hours away from the closest store. I think every 6 to 8 weeks is fine, as long as when you go, you're spending a significant sum. But I think if you can, and you do live like, you live in a country with a Big H boutique, you should be going once a month. I think just now it's just become too competitive, particularly if you want those really like popular bags like the Kelly Pochette, the Mini Kelly, the 25 centimeter Birkin or Kelly, or even some of the Constance 18s in the really desirable neutral colors. Like people are fighting over gold Constances and black Constances with gold hardware. People will fight over those bags and will do a lot to be like the Constance in black with gold hardware, or even in palladium hardware, the Constance in gold, or in sesame or biscuit with gold hardware, palladium hardware. Those are very, very desirable bags that people will fight for, and people will do a lot to get those bags. So you know, you have to kind of think about what suits you. I remember chatting to one of my followers who was telling me like that she has a similar situation to me. She was saying that she didn't tell me where she lived in America, but she said she lives in a very remote town in America, and she's 7 hours by plane. I think she said by plane or by car. She's like, I think it was by car, not by plane. That's not possible. She said she was 7 hours by car away from the closest Hermes store. I was like, okay, well that is very inconvenient, because I'm like, Dar es Salaam is like 7 hours away. If there's a direct flight, and there are going to be direct flights between Dar and Paris this summer, I'm like 7 hours away from Paris on a direct path. 11 hours if I go through Amsterdam. She's like 7 hours, you know, by car away from the closest Hermes store. So she lives somewhere that's very, very, very remote. So we were both, she was just like saying like, oh, my situation is similar to you, because I have a very similar situation. Like, you know, maybe I should just try in Paris, because it'd be really, really hard for me to create a relationship here because I can't be seen at the store. And I think that it does come to that point where you have to be seen at the boutique once you're spending at a certain level. I do think maybe if you're spending more than 50K a year, maybe FaceTime 50, 60, 70. Definitely if you can do 100 or 150K, I mean, then you're in like VIP territory, so maybe it doesn't matter how often you go in. But I think that there comes a point where the loyalty you show has to be shown at a certain level in order for FaceTime not to matter. I just kind of feel like FaceTime matters at this brand more and more. So many of you have told me the same thing. For those of you who care, do I think FaceTime matters in Paris? Yes, it matters a lot. In fact, I think it is the determining factor between the people who get great offers and the people who don't get great ones. A lot of the people who shop in the Paris scene, who I have seen share stories on social media, all of them are people who go to Paris 2, 3, 4, 5 times a year to shop at Hermes and Louis Vuitton and Chanel. You need FaceTime. So for example, for me, I'm going this summer, okay? Then presumably if I have nothing else going on, or if I have some free time, I should go again in autumn, winter as well. Then if I go this summer, which I am going, that's fine. I would then need to try going again in autumn, winter, then it would be like 3 times in a year. It's becoming so competitive that FaceTime is definitely a thing. I just feel like unless you're spending at a certain level, or you're lucky and you have a great connection with an SA, you have to go in often so that the SA remembers you, so that when it's time to allocate a top tier offer, you are top of mind. Now, I know I'm going to get people, because there are always people like this, you know, who talk about like one example, and then it kind of gives people the wrong impression. There'll be someone be like, well, that's not true. I haven't been to the boutique in 9 months and I get all the offers that I want, and or I don't spend that much money and I don't do that much FaceTime and my SA, you know, still gives me offers. Yes, those are realities for some people, but I just feel like right now there's so many clients who are fighting to shop at Big H. You really need to be doing FaceTime, and that was the key thing. That was the key thing that I noticed, like, about these two bait lists. Both of them, Birkin Glamazon and Constance Glamazon, were both going to the store often and picking up items. I mean, they were doing what they're supposed to do. You're supposed to go into the boutique and buy things. You know, when people on social media say, can you go to the boutique to say hi to your SA? I kind of cringe. I would die. If I lived in Paris, like, I wouldn't go to Sev to say hello to the SA and not buy anything. I think it's, you know, super, super, super cringe. I want to touch on something just before I go about the idea of giving presents or gifts to Big H SAs. I'm not a fan of this. I know a lot of this is cultural. I'm not a fan of this because I just feel like, in terms of shopping at Big H, and I know that many of you are from America and Canada, where it's more culturally acceptable to give people who aren't friends presents. I understand that, and I do respect that. I just want to be clear. I do respect that. I still feel like it still feels like it's a bribe, you know, because it's still like you're giving, even, I know some of you have said like, oh, you've given things that people can share, like, oh, I've given cupcakes or, you know, pastries or things like that. But it's still you giving something that you don't need to give when you could come to the shop and buy stuff. I think that you should just go to the boutique and buy stuff. Don't go to the store to give cakes and cookies and biscuits and presents. There's all types of these shenanigans going on in terms of the gift side. I've had all kinds of gifts. People who are giving ready to wear, people who give luxury gifts, luxury beauty presents, luxury beauty sets, all kinds of gifts that people give to SAs. I've heard it all. It's up to you to make the decision. I will never gift a Big H SA anything, respectfully, because I don't feel like it's necessary. I think my money should be enough. I think the only time where I think giving a present to an SA might be appropriate is if you're watching, let's say, just speaking hypothetically, let's say you get invited to a catwalk show. Like, if your Big H SA puts your name forward and you go to one of the Big H catwalk shows, I think a gift in that instance, but not like, I think a gift in that instance is fine. Maybe like a floral bouquet or a floral arrangement or something like that. That would be really nice. But unless your SA is saying, hey, I would like to put you forward for a Paris catwalk show or a presentation in Paris, or there's a presentation in Milan or Rome, wherever, not necessarily Big H, but any brand, I just don't feel like presents are necessary, because I still feel like it still kind of lurks in the air that it's you trying to get preferential treatment by doing something nice, even if it's meant in the most innocent way. We've had many heated discussions about this in my Facebook group. We've had interesting discussions. We all had different opinions on it. A lot of this is rooted in culture. I just feel like, again, I know that it's more accepted in North America. I feel like in Europe, this is not something that, like, I just don't think in Europe it's something that's done as much. Again, I'm going to take an unpopular position because I do respect culturally. Definitely in Africa, in the luxury boutiques in Africa, you would never give a present to an SA. Never, ever, ever. That would never happen. That would 100% be seen as a bribe. There's no question about it. I just feel like for Big H specifically, I do feel like it's kind of lurking that it's like, oh, I'm trying to do something nice for you, I want to give you a present. By the way, please remember me down the line when it's time to allocate back in Kelly's and Constance's. Whereas I think your bait should be doing that job. So this is just a general topic, just a little hot topic to get us talking. I'd love to know what you guys think about this, and love to know what you think about the bait list. Thank you so much to the two Glamazons who sent them to me. I love reading them. I'm preparing how to go to Paris for my summer trip. I've learned a lot and I'm super excited. I'm not even triggered, honestly, I'm not triggered. We'll just see what happens. And I was thinking about my strategy for luxury in Paris this summer, it's just, and Europe, because I'll be going to other cities, I'm just like, I just want to be very like relaxed about everything and be like a butterfly and just kind of float around the 3 Parisian stores. And if the essay at Sephora doesn't come through for me, I will go find someone else. Like, I won't even be triggered over it, because I feel like that is the only way to shop at this brand. I feel like when you get so focused on, I'm building a relationship with this essay, if that person's a human being, if that person lets you down, you're going to be so hurt. I'd rather just not have any expectations from her or anyone. Whoever delivers the bag I'm looking for, in which case it's a mini Kelly too, that is the person that's going to be getting my loyalty moving forward, whoever like gets that bag for me. So anyway, I would love to know what you guys think about everything. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider following me on all of my socials. Go join the group. Go sign up for my emails, link below. And I'll see you guys very soon in my next video.